Hello, everybody. This is Sri from BizBuzz, sponsored by My Work Belt, all-in-one software for service-based small businesses. And My Work Belt provides you full free training along with a business coaching groups. Sign up for My Work Belt as soon as you can. Now, I have a great guest here today, Victor. And Victor, you and I are talking on this podcast. Thank you very much for being part of this. And you and I, we both share the common theme. We want to help small businesses and we want to be
Mhm.
together and grow strong together in America. So small business is your theme and my theme. So what do we got? What do we got for small business today? What is that in your uh, pot of knowledge on your head?
Yeah, well, Mastery, we're both, on the platform Alignable, where there's over 9 million small businesses. So I always tell people, the place to be if you're to do business, if you're a small business, is on Alignable. And a lot of people on Alignable are solopreneurs.
Uh-huh.
And so what that means is they don't really have, as you know this, they don't have big business dollars to do big business things.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of networking that takes place. And I was just actually on a networking event where we were talking about making the emotional connection with people. I
Correct.
go by this rule: let them buy me and get my services for free.
Mm-hmm.
Are they getting my services for free? No. But once they've bought into me and they like me, what's going to happen is the perceived value of what I'm selling goes up. And they're either going to do one of three things. They're either going to want to talk to me more,
Mm-hmm.
refer me, or do business with me. So you have to know how to have good conversations with people, know how to tell stories and listen to people's stories, making that emotional. And this actually goes with the way people make their purchasing decisions. They first
Mm-hmm.
do it in the
Yes.
emotional part of their brain,
Right.
then it comes to they rationalize it in that neocortex. So we've been talking a lot about making that emotional connection.
Right. Emotional connections, especially in the case of B2C, is even more important,
Mm,
right? B2B, that emotional connection may have a little bit lower importance, whereas
mm,
if you are a small business and you are a B2C service provider,
mhm.
you have to you can't afford not recognizing the value of these emotional connections,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
But
most definitely.
and in large companies, we all know they bring in those emotional feelings into their commercials. When you look at the TV commercials for
Mhm.
diamonds or Mother's Day gifts, Father's Day gifts, anything you take on a TV commercial, you have an emotional connection.
Mm,
But let's talk
mhm.
about how a small business who is not doing a TV commercials, how can they bring that emotional connection to their prospects? Tell me if you have any thoughts on that.
Most definitely. A couple things. Number one is to make sure you're networking a lot, and building that kind of rapport with people. I've found one of the best ways to do it is literally to just get to know the person. And that's by telling and listening to their story. So for me, when I meet someone, I want to get them to talk about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It could be their family, their occupation, what they like to do for fun, things like that. I want to get them talking about themselves, because the more they're talking and sharing information with me, the more of an they're trusting me, right? With
Mm-hmm.
personal information, right? So then after that, then we can kind of get to business. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason why I always want to listen first, right, is because when they start talking about their business, what they're going to do is they're going to tell me how to sell to them,
Mm-hmm.
right? But that's not, I'm not going to be able to get to that conversation unless I first made that personal or emotional connection.
Indeed, indeed. So the emotional connections of what level makes a difference, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
when you are talking about these emotional connections, yes, the family, birthdays, these things are important. But for a
Mm-hmm.
small business, it is so much information to manage, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is important for them to have a system that can help them organize. Now, when you're talking about the information, it's not just simply about the prospects. It's not just simply about the connections. It's not internally within the organization. They will have so much data that they are lost. I've come across many small businesses. They have all their customer information on Notepad, on a book. So how do you expect you to have a proper organization of your information and be able to thrive? So fundamental tool that you need to have is organizing your information along with these emotional tracking, right? Now, when you're going back to the emotions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pain is an emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, somebody make a purchasing decision when they are in pain of something, and that pain and your solution matches,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
If your solution doesn't meet to the pain that person is going through, don't try to match them, because
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to put a square peg into a round hole.
Round hole. Yeah.
Then it is all the emotional uh, capital that you invested into building rapport is going to go down the drain. So it is very important for us to recognize that it's okay to let go if that doesn't meet to what you're offering.
Yeah. Um, I've heard it said, don't try to sell to people whose problem you don't solve.
That's a very elegant statement.
Yeah. You'll waste your time. Just find the people whose problem you solve. Those are the people you talk to.
You talk to.
Right. And so yeah, you have to, and you mentioned, that's very important. You have to know your customers' pain points.
Uh-huh.
What are they feeling? And really you can build your content around that. Right. All right, you have this problem. All right, well, if you're having this, feeling this pain, you have this problem, this headache, guess what? I've got a solution for you. So yeah, find the people whose problem you solve and then let them know how well you solve their problem, and you'll be in business.
Yeah. Remember last time we were talking about it? It's very important. Actually, interesting part that I've experienced in the last 20 plus years of helping small businesses and providing help on applying technology on their business. If you can articulate the problem of your prospect, you already solved.
Mm-hmm.
Your
Yeah.
solution is secondary stage, but by the time they come to you, they were already sold because
Yep. Yep. Yep.
you were able to articulate their problem in the way that they can feel like, I know this guy knows my problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we want to leave it there for the people here to recognize importance of the emotional capital that you create and invest with your prospects,
Mm-hmm.
and know their pain and articulate their pain in a way that they can feel, yes, he knows or she knows my pain.
Mm-hmm.
Hence, they can solve my problem.
That's empathy. That's the empathy. And when the customer feels like you empathize with them, I think it's your product or service is pretty much sold at that point.
There you go. Here you go, my
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
Now, Victor is giving us the great essence of empathy.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to
Excellent.
be able to empathize. You got to be able to empathize. I've heard it said that, a lot of advertising can sometimes, in the past, however many years, it's felt like manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because sometimes they try to get you to feel a certain way. But that's not what it's all about. In advertising, it's about bringing up those things that they already feel, not getting them to feel something. So when you can,
Right.
bring up what they already feel, and they say, wait a minute, this person cares about me. This
Mm-hmm.
person understands my problem. And then right there's not much you have to do after that in order to get them to buy.
Excellent. Great share. Thank you very much, Victor, for sharing your knowledge and greatly appreciate it. Hey guys, here you go. We have empathy is the word for today, and be empathetic for your prospects and for your customers, and feel their pain, articulate it back to them, and you will be winning. Great success. Thank you very much.
All right.